for Kaylee. Today is yoga for anxiety. We're going to be focusing on the middle ground, focusing on the middle, existing in the middle. And if you have a block or 2 blocks, grab them. If you have something you can substitute for a block, grab them. If you don't have them, just kind of follow along and work without them. It'll be fine. We're going to start on our feet. So up on our feet.
So sorry. I had to go to the bathroom. There wasn't any toilet paper. It was a whole disaster.
So we're starting on our feet. Kaylee finally arrived. We're starting on our feet, and we're just going to feel our feet. So feeling the ground, feeling our feet, tapping around, feeling the balls of your feet, feeling the ground below your feet, maybe taking some wiggles, taking ankle circles one at a time, really feeling your feet. How much attention do you pay to your feet? You use them all day, every day, and how much attention do we pay to them? So start to rock. Place the right foot down and start to rock onto the ball of the left foot, and then back, lift the toes. Just start to rock back and forth 1 foot at a time. Just starting to feel. See if you can start to feel the muscles in the arch of the foot. Really starting to slow the movement down, activate the foot. And then the other side, lifting the heel nice and slow, moving the weight nice and slow. Feeling the back of the leg even when you pull up the toes. Yoga is about connection. The whole difference between yoga and a physical, just workout in a gym, is that mind-body connection. So starting to feel the muscles. And then find a comfortable mountain pose. So feet comfortable for your hips. Start to really just settle into your feet. Feel the ground below you, and then focus on the sky above. So imagine the crown of your head had a little strength, made you a little taller. Get a little longer in the spine. And notice any compensation patterns that happen when you think about getting taller. So do you start to tighten your lower back? Do you tuck or point out your pelvis? What do you do in your body when you start to think about getting taller? Another thing we often do is we pinch our shoulders back or pull our chin back to try and get straighter. So try and release the shoulders. Let go of the shoulders. Let go of the neck. Take a little soft movement in the neck. Take out any kinks. Feel the neck. Feel the tension between the shoulder blades. And then find a comfortable position for your legs, for your back, for your shoulders, for your neck, where you feel like you can start to extend and lift up towards the sky without compensating and pulling in the back. And bring your hands to prayer, heart space. Feel your thumbs actually touching your sternum here. Soften your shoulders and elbows. So pull tight. Let your elbows and shoulders be soft, and then maybe even close your eyes. If you close your eyes, notice inside all the little micro adjustments that happen in your body to help you stand on your own 2 feet. Feel the connection at your heart center. Feel grounded through the feet and extending and lifting through the crown of the head. The connection of the heart in the middle, the heart center. Your feet grounded, your head tall. And then begin to find your breath. Just noticing where your breath is at first. And then start to lengthen the inhale. And even slower on the exhale. Breathing in through the nose. Softly breathing out through the nose. Finding your center. grounded on the ground in your feet, tall through the crown of the head, your center at your chest, your heart center. And then gently float the eyes open if they're closed. And we're going to connect to the breath. Inhale, arms up overhead. Connect your prayer and bring it down to your heart with the exhale. Inhale, open, lift, draw in fresh. Exhale, bring it down to your center. Inhale, exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, center. One more time, really connecting with scooping in fresh. And exhale, draw it down to your heart and then pause and breathe. And then we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to inhale, push up our prayer. Exhale, open the hands and push down. Push that exhale down nice and slow. Back to prayer. Inhale, push our inhale up. Exhale, push our exhale up. Inhale up. Exhale, push it down. This time, push down. Really connect with pushing your breath out. Pause. A little more push. Inhale up. Couple more like that. Push the breath out. Pause. Push out some more. Inhale, open up. Exhale, push. Push out some more. And then bring it back to your center. Find your center. Try not to be distracted, okay, Leah? Find your center. Find your middle. Find your breath. And then interlace the fingers. Index fingers free. Take them up overhead. Ground down into the feet. And then take the hands and shoulders over to the right. Trying to remain grounded in the feet. So really opening up the left rib cage. Rather than thinking about compromising, competing, open up the left rib cage. Get really long. Breathe into the open rib cage. Bring it back to center. And then over to the other side. Think about getting long and tall and open. Breathe. And then back to the center. Bring your hands down to prayer. Finding your feet on the ground. Finding your breath. Now we're going to bring our hands down by our hips and take a little squat. We're going to inhale as we lift our arms up. Exhale as we squeeze forward. Inhale up. Starting to use the muscles in our legs. Exhale, squeeze forward. Use your stomach. Squeeze the breath out. Really inhale, fresh, draw in fresh. Exhale, squeeze the exhale out. Maybe even add in that gentle pause. And then squeezing some more.
I had a piece of, I guess it would be like charcoal or something on my foot.
And then find your center.
I just drew a line down my foot.
Find your breath. Ground and center. And this time, inhale up and then swan dive it down. Find your block if you have it. Maybe have it on the tall setting. Take the tension out of the neck and the head. And we're going to just take a teeny bit of the body weight onto the hands. You can use 2 blocks if you like. Teeny bit of body weight onto the hands, and then we're just going to start to move through the feet and legs. So bending the knees, lifting one heel up nice and slow at a time. Nice and slow, feeling your feet, feeling your legs. Taking the tension out of your head and neck. Hanging upside down. And then take your feet about mat width apart. And same thing. Start to lift one heel at a time, and maybe this time sink the hips over to the lifted heel. And then I lift the other heel, a little sink, a little bit of weight exchange left to right. Just feeling the feet. Warming up, feeling grounded. And then bend the knees deeply, remove your blocks. High plank pose, step back to high plank, hold high plank. And just start to move through the wrists. So land your wrists, get strong in the body, maybe a bend in the knees to help the legs feel very strong and active. And then just start to move and exchange the weight back and forth. Little slow, controlled movements, feeling grounded in the hands. And then slowly lower the knees, lower the stomach, crocodile pose. All the way down, one hand on top of the other, forehead down, shimmy the hips, let go. Find long, slow breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Pick up the right foot and inch it as if someone pulled it longer. I'm going to pick up the left foot, inch it as if somebody pulled that leg longer. Feel a little longer in the spine, maybe a little less pressure on the low back. And then we're going to start to move and breathe here. So hands wherever comfortable for balance. Inhale, lift the shoulders, and exhale, lower. So not thinking about getting a huge curve in the back, but just starting to connect with all of the muscles in the back line. Think about lifting the shoulders rather than lifting the skull. Don't take all the tension into the neck here. Try to use the upper back, mid back, lower back, glutes all evenly. The backs, the legs also engaged, and maybe even trying to engage the lower core, the lower stomach in front of the hips. Finding your breath. And keep your hands on the ground, take them nice and wide, lift up, start to engage. So lifting up so that you have some strength in the arms and hands. You're using the arms and hands, trying not to lift too high. There's no height competition. So lift here, hold, and then lower down. And then lift up and see if you can take a little more strength into the arms. Maybe so much that you're challenging yourself too much. Really press into the arms. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lift up. Maybe try to arch, hollow out the belly. Lift that chest up to the ceiling. Really squeezing the legs so this doesn't go into the lower back. Watch the neck. Take the tension out of the neck and face. Make this really, really, really challenging. Maybe even tuck the toes and lift the hips up a little bit. Find the point where it's really, really, really too hard. And then lower down to crocodile. And find a shimmy of the hips and let go. And then bring your hands in pretty close. Don't take too much weight into the hands, and lift the shoulders up to where there's not much effort. Find that point where you can lift up and you can be pretty comfortable, pretty easy, not much effort. Lift up, feel that, experience it. And then bring it down to crocodile. Reset. And then thinking about those two experiences, too hard, you're almost struggling too much, and then too easy. And then think about where you can place your hands and how much weight you take into your hands, whether you tuck your toes, whether you lift the pelvis or not. Find what your middle ground is. Find it, press into the hands, and lift up the shoulders. Engage the entire back, engage the arms, find your middle ground. Find the place where you can breathe with ease. Hold a long spine. Take a weight into your arms as much as your arms can handle comfortably. Breathe in your middle ground. Find the place where you can breathe with ease.
Engaged in this position.
Huh?
My back's supposed to be.
Long. Yeah. Hollow up. Lift your chest. There you go. You're too archy. You feel it? Yeah. Hollow up. There you go. And then bring it down. Crocodile. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Shimmy the hips. Let go. Bring the hands back towards the shoulders, tuck the toes, and lift back to a child's pose. Find a child and your version of child's pose. So not thinking about whether the knees should be in a certain place, finding the comfortable position for your body shape. And then come to tabletop pose. Pressing into the hands, we're going to take shoulder circles, nice and slow. One at a time, rolling the shoulders. Maybe take the arms a little wider. Just trying to experience the muscles in the shoulders. Finding movement, circles in the shoulders. And then bring your chest between your shoulders and then hollow out. Chest between the shoulders and then hollow out. So a cat-cow, but you really thinking about the shoulders. So we're not just moving and sinking and throwing our body in space, but we're trying to find the muscles in the shoulders. So bringing the muscles, the shoulder blades together, the chest through, and then hollowing out, lifting the chest up off the ground and opening the shoulder blade. Find some movement where you feel engaged the entire time. Your arms are working, your chest is working, your shoulders are working. Your wrists should have some weight, your hands should have some weight. And if you're feeling it in your lower back at all, squeeze the lower belly, pull the stomach up towards the spine. Help take some of the tension out of the back. And then bring it back to regular tabletop. Swing the right arm back in a giant circle, and then swing the left arm back. Nice and slow, opening up. Plant the hands. If you have the blocks here, you can try using the blocks underneath your hands. We're going to do plank challenges. So when you use the blocks, you're going to really connect with lifting up out of the block first. So this is me just hanging out my shoulders, lifting up, pulling my chest tight, my arms strong. And then lifting, tucking the toes, lifting and hovering the knees. Hold. Maybe this is enough. So hold here. Feel the strength in your arms. Maybe lift a little further towards your shoulders. Breathe and hold. And then maybe take the legs long. Wiggle the feet back. Take the legs long. Lift up out of the shoulders. Don't sink into the shoulders. Hold for plank. So find your challenge point. Where is your challenge point? Up in a strong high plank or lowering the knees. find which one is your challenge point. Where is it hardest for you? Hold and breathe. And then lower down, take a child, maybe leaving your hands on the block. And then come up to tabletop and just kind of hang out on the blocks if you have them, or just on your hands, playing with the weight. Not too much effort. So take your arms to not too much effort. You're not doing too much effort. You're just kind of hanging out here. Maybe you're starting to get a little bored. Watch your thoughts and watch your muscles when you're not really thinking and hanging out. Are you sinking into your shoulders? What are you doing with your hands and wrists? When you're not making any effort at all, are you paying attention to your muscles? Maybe you're sagging into your back, bowing into your back. Notice. And then find a midpoint. Not too hard, not too easy. Lift and hover the knees. Make an effort. Lift up out of the shoulders. Breathe. Find the place that you can hold. And find a nice, steady, stable breath. Maybe you could even hold a conversation. Breathe. And then lower the knees and find a child. Maybe keeping the blocks where they are. Find your way to a down dog. You can use your hands on a block for a down dog. Notice how different this position or pose is when your hands are on a block. And you can warm up your down dog, taking the hips side to side or bending the knees, whatever feels good. And then slowly tiptoe your feet towards your hands. See if you can keep just a teeny bend in the hands. Slowly lifting one foot up at a time, walking towards your hands. Find your feet underneath your hips. Maybe you can keep your hands on the blocks, strong arms and shoulders. You might need to bend your knees deeply. See if you can find that place where you can keep some weight on your arms. We're going to do a challenge exercise here. So we're going to lift our right foot up. So right foot up towards right wrist, maybe even tap it. Left foot up towards left wrist, maybe even tap it. Really see if you can start to take some weight into the arms. Like you're coming to a handstand. See if you can start to engage the stomach in this exercise. So if you're really coming up to a handstand, or we're going to a press handstand, you press and lift with your stomach to get your hips up. So practice just doing it one foot at a time. If this is super difficult, maybe try changing the height of the blocks. Makes it a little bit easier. Legs are engaged as you do this. And just flop them around. And then forward fold, take the tension out of the head, neck, and shoulders. Bend into the legs so that the torso can find the thighs. And really let the tension drop out of the head, neck, and shoulders. Find your breath. And then placing your hands on the blocks just for balance. Left leg takes the weight. Bend into the left leg. Take the right leg backwards, toes down. So untucking the toes. And we're going to pull the right leg towards us. So land it on the ground and then feel like you're pulling the foot towards us. See if you can stretch the front of the foot and the front of the shin. And then engaging the leg nice and strong and engaging the left leg nice and strong. Maybe adjusting the height of your blocks. Getting long in the torso. We're going to lift right leg up nice and slow. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower. Very slow, very engaged. Imagine there was a rubber band between the 2 feet and you're really trying to pull that band apart and it's really hard. Your legs are engaged. And then tuck the toes and land on the ball of the right foot, low lunge. We're going to inhale, forward bent leg, exhale, send the leg in the front towards straight. Both legs engaged. Having an experience with both legs, an internal experience. And then you can return to the same exercise we just did, or if you would like to find the challenge, you're going to place a block at the heel of the right foot. This time we're going to lift and pinch it between the foot and the thigh. This time we're going to lift and lower the right leg with engaged back leg. So lower the knee down and then lift the knee up, squeezing so you don't drop your block. It's not easy. This is really a challenge. Inhale, lift, exhale, squeeze knee towards chest. Inhale, lift. Watch for compensation patterns in the head, in the neck, and the shoulders. If you have a chair and you want to use a chair to hold your balance on, use a chair.
Falling over right now. It's too hot. I'm falling over and dying.
Squeeze the knees together. Hold the knees together. Still trying to hold your block. See if you can send the hips backwards and start to balance on the left leg. Fly out the arms. See if you can come all the way to stand still, holding your block. See if you can bring the knee all the way forward, still holding your block. Take the knee out to the right. And then release the block. Stomp it out. Tap it out. Feel the bottom of your feet. Feel left and right hips. Left and right legs. They should feel different. We work them differently. Good time to notice left and right sides, and then take a little swish left and right, letting the top of your hand just kind of tap the hips. Let go. And then we're going to return to our breath. So finding your mountain pose, feet underneath your hips. Find your center. Hands to prayer, heart space, thumbs actually touching the heart so you can feel your feet on the ground, crown towards the sky, and your hands in the middle. Hands at your heart center. Breathe. And this time we're going to inhale, lift our prayer up center. Exhale, bring our prayer past our left knee. Inhale, center. And bring our prayer past our right knee. So little twist, hollowing out the belly as you come down, engaging the stomach. See if you can engage the feet as if you're trying to pull them apart. Legs strong and active. Whole body movement. Connecting with your breath. Inhale up and then draw your prayer back down to your center. Find your center. Bring your chin down towards your prayer hands. Breathe. Bring your chin back to neutral. We're going to inhale up and swan, dive it down. Step back for a high plank. Hold. Find your challenge point. Maybe your knees are down. Find that middle ground. So find the challenge point, find the too easy, and then find the middle ground. Breathe and hold your plank. Lower the knees. Turn the fingertips towards the knees on both hands. Find that point where you can take a little bit of weight in your hands this way, so you may need to move them closer to the knees. So you can take a little bit of weight, lifting up out of the ground. So rather than pushing down into the wrist joint, we're lifting up, finding the muscles that work the arms and wrists. Lift up, take some weight. Maybe take some movement left and right, feeling the arms in a different position, the wrists in a different position. And then maybe find that point where you can come forward, take a bunch of weight, maybe even tuck the toes and lift the knees. So find the point that is your challenge point. It's too much. Maybe even too much, sorry. Your challenge point, find it, lift the knees. Maybe you can send the legs back. Maybe you can hold the reverse plank this way. So hold. If this is your challenge point and it's way too hard and you can't breathe, lower the knees. Find the point that is your midpoint, finding the middle ground. Find the place where you can breathe and hold. Be strong. And then lower. When your arms are shaking, that's your challenge point, not your middle ground.
It wasn't with my stomach. I did a lot of core work yesterday.
Oh.
My stomach has been shaking this whole time.
Take your hips back, child's pose. This time maybe flipping the palms and letting the wrists and hands soften completely. Find your breath. Slowly work your way to a down dog. If you're using the block challenge, find your blocks. So experiencing down dog with the blocks or without, whichever is your preference, make a choice for yourself. Whenever you're given the option to make a choice, it's an option to explore the workings of your mind. Are choices hard for you? Whenever you come into a pose where there was a choice, do you find your mind wondering if you've made the right choice or the wrong choice? And perhaps start to think about the concept of there is no right and wrong. There is just right now, and you made that choice. And there's no rules that say you can't switch your choice. Find less tension in the head and neck. Experience your head below your heart. And then whether your hands are on the blocks or not, bending into the knees, engage in the legs, and little tiny lifts of the foot, one at a time. Coming towards the wrist, lifting up, really engaging the stomach to lift the foot as high as it can go. Lift it up And then make it all the way up to your blocks. If you want to try the handstand challenge, you can start to lift, maybe even lift both feet, lifting up little hops. So coming forward, lift, hop. So trying both feet at a time. Oh, Kaylee's gonna do a press handstand. Lift up. Honoring where you are at. So maybe you've been working on this forever and you were able to get to a press handstand. I've been working on it forever and I'm still not there. Or maybe you're just practicing lifting the feet. Or maybe you're ready to take little hops. Experiencing weight on the hands, experiencing the hips up, experiencing a challenge. And then leaving the hands on the block. This time, weight onto the right foot. Left foot goes back with toes down. Front of the foot places onto the ground, and then feel like you're pulling the foot towards you without letting it move, stretching the front of the foot, maybe even finding the point where you can stretch the shin in front of the leg, lower leg. And then weight onto the right leg. We're gonna lift left. Inhale as we lift. Exhale as we lower. Slow and controlled. Finding muscles and muscle connection in both legs. Land the left toes down. Lift the foot down. Low lunge. We're going to inhale forward and exhale right leg towards straight. Inhale forward, exhale back. Having an experience in your feet, your hips, maybe even your stomach and back, trying to take the tension out of the neck and shoulders. Trying to find all of the muscles in both legs, in both hips. And then either returning to that same toes untucked lift or finding the challenge, placing the block at the heel of the left foot and then squeezing it into the thigh. See if you can squeeze it. Find stability, find your squeeze. And then we're gonna lift, inhale as we lift the knee up towards the hip. Exhale as we hollow out the belly, bring the knee towards the chest. Inhale, lift, legs both engage. If you don't engage that left leg, you're gonna drop your block. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. Squeeze the left knee towards the chest. And then maybe you can start to find the floating challenge, balance challenge. Come all the way to stand. Try not to drop your block. Bring the knee forward. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Bring the knee out to the left. Squeeze the block. Squeeze the inner thigh. And then release.
Ow, cramps.
Tap your feet out. Tap them out. Really try to get jiggles in the feet. Now really try to experience left and right side. We work both legs. See if there are any differences still. Usually we have one side that's stronger than the other. Tap it out. And then left to right. Swing. Let go. Find your breath. Bring it back to mountain and find your center. Find your breath. Check in with your mind, your thoughts. A little tiny step back with the right leg. Holding onto the hips so we can try and find them even. We're not popping up one. Try and keep them both pointing forward, hips flat. Engage the back leg and then lean the torso forward. So both legs engaged. Trying to keep the hips even, and then maybe you can lean the torso a little further forward. Engaging both legs. So maybe you're ready to come to that point where you're really seriously challenging yourself. Find that point. Bring the torso to the point where both legs feel a little overstretched. If you can't find it, maybe widen the legs a little. Bring the torso forward a little more. Try not to push the knee backwards, but push into the heel and lift the left hip up. So really lift and lengthen. Find the point where you're like, okay, this is too much. And then back off. Find your middle ground. Find that point where you can feel both legs engaged, a little bit challenged, but you could hold a conversation and your breath is steady. It's 43, it's not. Bend into the left leg, step the right leg forward. Find the left leg back. Now notice, left leg's challenge point may not be the same as the right leg. So keeping the hips even, come forward, see if you can find that point where maybe you're getting to the point where you're a little too far. Find it, and then back off. Find your middle ground. Find that place. The middle ground. Find your steadiness. Find the middle ground between effort and ease. Find your breath. And into the right leg, bring the left leg forward. Feel the feet. Lifting the heels, changing the weight. And then inhale up, swan dive it down. Exhale, touch the ground. Step back for a high plank. Hold a high plank. Maybe take your hands a little wider, hold a different high plank. Find that place, the middle ground between effort and ease. And then lower the knees. Send the hips back to the heels, swing the hip over, swing the feet around. Shake out the legs. Really shake out the legs, feel the legs. Point and flex one foot at a time. Feel the feet, curl the toes under. Feel the muscles in the feet. Maybe even bringing your feet so that you can take the palms of your hands to your feet, the tops of your feet. And then take the thumbs to the sides and the soles.
Oh, I went to the bathroom without, I wouldn't walk through the dust without my shoes.
Bring some circulation to your feet and then bring the palms of the hands in rotation.
For my feet. I was wondering what was on my mat. I have chalk on my mat.
And then make your way to your back. Knees in towards the chest, curling up in a ball. Find your breath. Squeezing in a little ball. Take a couple of sigh breaths. So inhale nice and deep and exhale, sigh it out of the mouth. This time try a smile. Release your knees and let your knees just start to find themselves above the hips. Take a little wiggle of the hips and then land your feet wherever your hips feel super comfortable and your back feels super comfortable. We're going to take a little tension out of the neck. So find that point where your shoulder blades are absolutely sinking into the ground. Maybe you need to wiggle your shoulders around, and maybe your palms need to be up and your elbows bent. Find the place where your shoulders find the ground. They know the ground is there. They don't feel like they're floating in space, and the muscles of the chest have to be tight. So feel the chest starting to open and soften. Breathe into it. Almost as if you could tell the muscles of the chest and the neck that the shoulder blades are supported. The ground has the shoulder blades. The ground has the head. And now the chest can begin to release its tension. Feel the back of the skull on the ground. Pay attention to the neck. Notice if you've brought your chin back towards your spine. Lift your chin a little more to the ceiling. Let that natural curve happen in the neck. And then very, very slowly, turn the chin towards the right. Turning the chin towards the right shoulder. And then press the right side of the head a little bit into the ground so you can just kind of feel the muscles of the neck. Not to the point where you're stressing the muscles of the neck, but you're finding them. So feel what they feel like when they're engaged.
Wait. I think I've lost the muscle in my neck.
So bring your chin towards the ground. Pull your chin towards the ground.
Wait.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I found them again. They were just on vacation. Feeling it in my shoulder.
So take a deep breath with the muscles of your neck engaged. And with a sigh, soften all the muscles of the neck. Particularly notice if pushing your head down started to bring some tension into the shoulders. Notice if you were compensating with the chest or the shoulders or the arms. You might have been pressing into the arms. Notice. Allow your head to just be soft and the muscles of your neck to be soft. And then very, very, very slowly take the chin all the way over to the left. And then press the left side of the head into the ground. So you're trying to find the muscles of your neck that would press your head, as if somebody was really pushing your head down into the ground. But you're going to use the muscles of your neck just to find them. We're not looking to hurt our neck. We're looking to find and engage so that we know what they feel like. We know what they feel like when they're working, when they hold tension. Find that tension and then very slow breath in. And with a sigh, exhale, let the tension soften. And again, check in on all those places. Check in on your shoulders. Check in on your chest, your arms, your palms. And then bring your chin back to neutral. Try to soften the shoulders and the neck a little more. Press the back of your skull just a little bit into the ground. And notice what you start to fire up to push the back of your head into the ground. So did you start to use your low back? Did you start to use your mid back? Did you start to use your shoulders? Try to press the back of your head into the ground with the muscles of your neck only. So see if you can do it. It's really hard. You're going to have to turn off all of your compensation patterns. So maybe take a little side shuffle of the hips, a little wiggle of the shoulders, let everything go, and then try again. Really focus on only the muscles of the neck engaging to push the back of the head into the ground. So imagine lifting your chin and pushing the head back just a little bit. We're not looking to hurt the neck, we're looking to find muscles. Press it in. See if you can find the muscles in the back of the neck, particularly close to the skull. See if you can find them. See if you can make them be the only guys working right now. It's really hard.
I can't. What's working?
Watch out for that low back. It's a big muscle group. It's really going to want to do all the work.
I was so focused on turning off all the other muscles that I didn't notice that my calf was tight.
Watch your feet, apparently. Everybody has different compensation patterns.
I know,
So
I
everything
was
else
just,
should be
squeezing it.
soft. And then take a long, slow breath in. And with the exhale, sigh and soften. How much better does that feel? Take a little side with the head, letting it be loose, not with muscles. And your head just kind of rock. Land your feet on the ground. And we're going to think about just pulling your pelvis up a little off the ground and then letting it come back. Little tiny rock of the pelvis, back and forth. And then left and right, take a little wiggle. So left and right, take a little shuffle, little wiggle. Really wiggling the hips, letting the hips wiggle, but not with muscles. So you don't want to be squeezing the glutes and wiggling the hips really tight. You want to be soft. Everything's soft. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Soft and wiggly. And then maybe little pulses. So pressing into the feet just a teeny bit so you can pulse the hips off the ground. And then drop them suddenly. Let everything soften. Notice if your legs felt like they needed to be open or towards each other. It might just give you a little awareness of perhaps some other compensation patterns. We are ready to go into our resting pose. So choices to be made here, and there are no right or wrongs. There is just right now. We are going to either have our feet on the ground with our knees up and our back soft, or we can go to full shavasana. We can put our legs on a chair. We can roll over and be in child's pose. We can be in full crocodile. We can also be in a fetal position on our side. Find a resting pose that is perfect for you right now. That's it. You want to find the pose where you can be comfortable and soft and at peace and at rest. Resting pose is not a stretching pose. A resting pose is the place where you can go to be completely and utterly soft and at rest. Finding the place where you are most comfortable right now. So we worked all practice about the middle. I'm going to read from the Radiance Sutra. The middle that embraces all. This is a practice of wonder, tenderness, and connection. Explore the relationship between the earth below you, your body, and the sky above. In nature, magnetism flows between opposite poles. The sun and the earth are polarities. The ocean of air above and the ground below are polarities. As you learn to live your life in conscious relationship with the above and below, your own body becomes the middle. And magnetism flows through you. Your body is a bridge, an electrical circuit joining heaven and earth. A human being is something the universe created to link the below and the above. You might take walks and open up your senses to the sky above and the ground below, then lie on the earth and do the same. You could dance or practice Tai Chi. You could visit places with huge sky and places where you love the earth. Over time, learn to tolerate the sense of immensity of both above and below. There is nothing to be forced. This is a love relationship. Give it time, give it flowers, go on dates, and pay attention. So finding your center, your middle, your heart center. I think of the chakra system. We have our grounding chakras at our hips and at our soles of our feet, and we have one at the crown of our head, which is our connection to the universe, to source, whatever your higher power is. And we have the center, the heart center in the middle. So finding your heart center, finding your middle. Letting everything else be outside of your focus right now. Just finding your center. Letting go of all of the muscles of the body. Letting go of the wandering thoughts. Finding your middle, and then connecting to the concept of being the middle between the sky above and the ground below. If you have more time and you're able to take it, please take as much time as you need in your resting pose. If you only have 60 minutes, we're coming up on the 60-minute mark. So begin to bring some wiggles to your fingers. Then bring your fingers and your hands together and rub them together and make them nice and warm. And then place one hand at a time over your heart center, as if sealing in a connection to this space. Feel the warmth of your hands. Imagine the warmth of your hands could release any further tension resting here. And bring a knee in at a time to the chest. Curl up in a little ball in the fetal position if you chose to be there already. Curl up in a ball in a fetal position. Hanging out in a fetal position. Grounding down. Returning to present moment in time. Finding your breath in your body. And then slowly coming up to a seated position, bringing your hands to prayer heart space and bringing your thumbs to touch this heart center. Connect with this space one more time. Connect with the position, this pose, this gesture of bringing our left and right sides to meet in front of our heart, as if accepting ourselves as whole and complete, precisely as we are. May you find time throughout your day to connect the wonder of the sky above us and the ground below us, and the fact that we live in this middle ground.
So maybe your shower tonight if you don't know.
May you also find time to connect with the fact that we have these polarities in our life. The negative, the positive, the dark and the light, the challenges and the ease. Constant polarities. And there are no right or wrongs. And we can exist right in the middle of all of it. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, the negative being that your dog barked at you until you woke up at 1 a.m. But the positive being that you got to watch a meteor shower. What happened to Facebook?
Oh, no, it died.
Oh,
I think we lost that class.
that was a good class. I need to do my favorite stretch more often. Holy fuck. Hips are really. Alright, we gotta get home. Tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, I have a assembly at 11 and